Welcome, dear students. Our current session is about progressive verb forms, and I hope by the end of this session you would be able to understand about the emergence of progressive forms in English language. Well, my dear students, the changes that happened in verbs and in the verb forms, they are so extensive that they cannot be covered here in detail. We cannot follow all of them. So I would just talk about a few significant ones that, would give you an idea of what happened. Well, one characteristic development in English grammar in the 18th century is regarding the progressive verbs. Well, whereas French would say, I am not going to pronounce it. I don't know how to pronounce it in French. I don't know French. I also don't know German. But, I'm just showing you the written options of both of these. Each of these languages has one option to say what is said in English, like I sing, or I do sing, or I am singing. The three options that we have. In terms of, verb choice, if you look at the verb choice, we have a variety in English. Especially talking about these do forms, I would say the do forms are used for emphasis. They're called actually emphatic forms. For example, when I say, I trust you, and when I say, I do trust you. The difference is, in the second example, when I say, I do trust you, I am emphasizing what I am saying. So the use of do in this way is for emphasizing. However, this is not the only use. Their most important uses are in negative and interrogative sentences. For example, I don't sing, or do you sing? So, interrogatives and negatives both. Well, my dear students, to be forms, let us focus on now. To be forms and the present participle, both of these, they are generally called what we are right now going to talk about, progressive forms. Their most common use is to indicate an action as being in progress at the time implied by the auxiliary. The wide extension of the use of progressive forms is one of the most important developments of the English verb during the early modern period. In Old English, such expressions such as this one, he was learned, he was teaching, this is the modern version of that, are occasionally found, but we do not find them very frequently. They are either very rarely found, or even if they are found, most of the times they are in the translations from Latin language. Moving from the Old English, coming towards the early Middle English, progressive forms are distinctly rare. They are available, but they are rare. Number increases as we move in the time from the early middle to the middle time, the Middle Ages. We see that the number of use increases. Credit of their development goes to the period since the 16th century. So it is from the 16th century onwards actually that we can say they actually developed. The chief factor in their growth is the use of participle as a noun governed by the preposition. Look at the example that is given on the screen. He burst out on laughing. He burst out on laughing. This weakened to burst out, a laughing, and finally he burst out laughing. These gradual changes through the times. In the same way, he was on laughing. Nowadays we do not use this structure. All these are the, different stages of the development. Today, such forms are very freely used in all tenses. For example, he is laughing, he was laughing, or he will be laughing.